graduated youth from, identified tertiary institutions who unfortunately had come home without any expertise and could not find jobs. We were told that this will last 3 years and it was set to employ about 100,000 young Ghanaian people into various sectors. In fact, it was built on some 7 prioritized areas. So we had Educate Ghana, Heal Ghana, Feed Ghana, Digitize Ghana, Revenue Ghana, Enterprise Ghana, and Civic Ghana. And in fact, we were told that by the end of the 3-year period, these NABCO beneficiaries will be absorbed into the private sector, even though they were being employed into the public sector temporarily. Now, there were many challenges that came up over time, from a number of them complaining that they had not received their salaries, which was supposed to be 700 Ghana cedis every month. I remember that there was some time when they embarked on a demonstration over unpaid allowances. And in fact, the PRO for NABCO came out and said that, it was needless because there were some challenges with the e-switch payment module and because most of the banks had been consolidated. And so that was why there were delays. So eventually, some of them were paid. Even till now that we've been told that officially NABCO trainees and beneficiaries have ended their 3-year training period. Some are saying that they are still owed some monies. And so a lot of them are saying they're ready to speak, to share their experiences with us. The president told us that some 49,000 of them had either started their own businesses or had been absorbed into permanent jobs. And so we're going to be having a broad discussion on this particular matter. If you're a NABCO beneficiary, if you're home this morning, because the Ghana Standards Authority released a letter over the weekend saying that all those who were working with the GSA under NABCO had to proceed on a 2-week mandatory leave starting today. So clearly across the country, NABCO has ended. And the president says that's to make way for the next batch or for a new policy to be underway. So share with us what your concerns are. The hashtag is TV3Newday. We're talking about NABCO. Joining us in the studio this morning, we have Benjamin Arthur. He's a labor and employment expert and a civil engineer. I'm here, by the way, with Cookie, and we'll be having this conversation. And we want to find out what his thoughts are on this. In fact, there's another labor expert who says that NABCO in itself was needless because it was just a ploy for government to get re-elected back into power. It was waste of national resources. It was a financial burden. Many of them share with us. But good morning, sir.
Yeah, good
You're welcome.
morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. And good morning to our viewers. Good morning to you as well.
Good morning, Mr. Arthur.
Let's start off the conversation with your thoughts on NABCO.
Yes.
A number of people came out and said it was needless. It was all political gimmick, and it was not really addressing the unemployment issue in the country. Because as it stands now, 4.6% of the working population is unemployed, many of them young people. So we were hoping that NABCO would be that policy that will bridge that gap. Has it done that? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, for me, NABCO has come to serve a very good purpose. In fact, when you have a policy, oftentimes in the public, we don't come out with policy analysis, evaluation, and then link it to some of the gains. But one of the things that I could tell you is that if you have noticed from the primary schools, JHS, and then the SHS, the results keep on improving. The trick is that there were many areas that we could not afford to have teachers there, but the NABCO trainees were available, readily on hand to help. So some of these gaps had been closed. So you could see that obviously results had improved. In some other areas too, the NABCO people have come into more or less, occupied a very sensitive gap. Let me give you a typical example of what NABCO had come to do. I'm not a PRO for NABCO, but I believe that in Ghana, if you take a cross-section of the adverts in the dailies, they are always asking for some number of years of experience. So NABCO came to serve, in my candid opinion, as a transition from school to work transition type of thing.
Mr.
That
please
provided.
hold on to your line of thought. Transition.
Maybe we should speak to
yes,
someone
there's a caller on line that we want to speak to. Good morning. Hi, good morning. I'm told you do not want to mention your name, which is okay, but you're welcome to TV3Newday. Are you a beneficiary?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Are you a beneficiary?
Yes, I'm a beneficiary.
Okay, please share.
Thank you very much. I am part of the Educate Ghana model. And I have been in the class for 3 years continuously. I have my license. I recently renewed my license. So I hold bachelor in education science. And it was a very, very good initiative, which I believe and I support, and it's a care on the employment situation. But currently, I know my stand as a trainee. We've gone through several processing, the CTP, the NSTA, and we don't know the clear way forward. What hurts me is I've been in the class for 2-3 years, and within this period, there are certain training college students, those who are posted just after their school, and they come for observation, they come for mentoring, and after that, they are being posted. And these people hold diploma in education. Like I said, I hold a bachelor. And they are posted and they get good pay more than you. Their slates are being paid. And it's really a serious issue, which I believe that even if not for anything, for the Educate Ghana personnel who have every requirement that the GES is requesting, there should be a way forward for them, at least just to cut down the number of trainees, to reduce, so that at least we can also be in the classroom, because right now, I'm in school now. I'm in school, and there's any communicate from the headquarters of the secretariat.
Hold on, can you hear us? Can you hear us? You are in school. Were you in school throughout the period when you were undergoing NABCO training?
Of course.
Okay.
I've been in school since November 2018.
All right. Now, before we carry on, we're told that, NABCO trainees were getting 700 Ghana cedis a month. Did you receive your salary every month?
No, sometimes it comes to, now we have a backlog of about 2 months now.
Okay.
September and October now.
Okay.
Currently, others have peculiar issues, which it's not general, but mine is currently 2 months backlog.
Have they explained what the reason is?
Yes, September and October backlog. And you go to school every day, you're in and out about 6 cities. And you have to do something. Sometimes you have to even motivate the kids. I have a class of about 69 people, and I'm the only one in the classroom. So the rumor about me going on leave, if I should go on leave, who's going to take up the kids?
So you never went on leave for the 3 years? You never went on leave?
I can go to the classroom right now for you to hear the voice of the kids talking.
Hold on.
I mean, I had not come to school today. What will be the fate of these kids?
Hold on. So you're saying that you never went on leave for the 3 years, right?
Come again?
You never went on leave for the 3 years?
Never.
You are still teaching?
It was during the COVID break that we all
had a break. Okay.
Yes.
But you are still teaching. Does it mean that you have not received any indication that NABCO training has ended for you?
No, the headmaster doesn't know anything about it. He has not received any official communique. The only thing that he's been hearing is the ones on social media that NABCO should proceed on leave. He has not had anything from GES or nothing. So when I came this morning, I asked him, and he was like, he doesn't know, but for the sake of the case, I should be in class.
Who is going to pay you?
I just came out.
Who is going to pay for this? That's the concern.
Is this school in Accra or outside Accra, by the way?
It's in Kumasi, in Ashanti region.
It's in Kumasi.
The school is a demonstration school in Ashanti region.
Okay.
That is, you have the training college, and they come for observation. They come, and you are the one mentoring them. And at the end, they are being posted, and they get the sneak pay and everything controller. They are mechanizing the system.
And you say,
and I'm still getting e-switch.
And you say the headmaster. And you say the headmaster has no idea that NABCO ended yesterday.
He has the idea, but he doesn't know the way forward. He doesn't have any communication whether we should still stay, whether this or that. So he's just saying for the sake of the peoples in the classroom.
So what's the way forward? So what's the way forward for you? What are you going to do? You're still going to teach?
I'm just confused. I'm just praying. I'm still teaching because I have the passion to teach.
Hold on.
And that is what yes.
Hold on. Sorry to cut you. Now, I remember that the president had announced during the 1 year celebration of NABCO that they were going to set up the career pathway transition process. And so those of you who were part of NABCO had to sign on to it so that they help you with the transition. Did you?
Can also cut the career pathway program. That it was a new jack approach because it was getting to the election. And so we feel that we submitted it, I think, latest by January, February this year. We finished it. It started from November, October there. So at least by February. And later they sent Educate Ghana, those who are in Educate Ghana too. They sent out a message to fill in our license details. And we did that. That was in March. And from then up to now, they brought this career pathway, entrepreneurship. What has entrepreneurship got to do with somebody? Me, personally, receiving 700 Ghana cedis, went to the University of Cape Coast, trained to be a teacher. Trained to be a teacher. To to be in the classroom with my license. At least there should be a consideration, even if the port of years is open for recruitment. There can be a way that it can include NABCO. We can have a quota for NABCO. If me, not me, at least my other trainees, my other colleagues, who are also in the same shoes as me, personally talking from the Educate Ghana model. I don't know other models, but from the Educate Ghana model, at least there should be a way forward for us. Because we've been in the classroom with this case. So imagine leaving them and telling them, it's over, I'm going.
Yeah.
And I've been in the classroom with this case. And the funny thing is, when I came out, I was a subject teacher. I was teaching science. And last 2 years, one of our madam passed on. So I had to go and take full class in charge of the class. I'm now in class 5. And I'm taking the class full charge. If I don't go to school, nobody is there.
Wow.
Imagine if the service personnel that I was with, he doesn't come. He doesn't even come. But when it's time for validation, he comes for validation. He's a training, college education training.
Okay.
And he doesn't come. And I have to take full charge of the class every time. Currently, as I'm talking, I've given them work so that I can come out and come and make this call. I can, if you doubt me, I can go to the classroom right now for them to say hi to you.
Okay, you hold on. Before you go back to the class, because we also want to verify if really you are still in teaching. But before that,
so I should go to the class, right?
Before that, hold on. Final question. So you said that the headmaster says keep coming to the school. Have you had a conversation with him as to who pays you? Because government says NABCO has ended, and headmaster says come to class. Who is going to pay for the next month that you might be in class?
Madam Bella, my master called me Saturday evening. And he said, examiner, he marked the script for the work. So he gave me some script to mark that maybe at the end of the day, when after finishing, he'll give me something. That's my hope. He hasn't said anything to me. But clearly, there's no payment of any funds or school fees in the basic school. So I don't know how you get, there's no internal generated fund for the school. So unless the capitation and other things, I don't know how he's going to get money to give me, unless maybe he uses his personal money to give me. But any money generated, it would be from his own. It wouldn't be, but I always say for the passion I have for this job, the passion and the love I have for this job, I will sacrifice and do it till the end of the term. The academic year will end somewhere December. Then if there's nothing like no official communication from them, then it means I have to go and look a job elsewhere, maybe in the private sector, or look somewhere else.
Have you been able to save at all? I mean, these 3 years that you're receiving 700 Ghana cedis a month, were you able to save?
Come again?
Were you able to save some of the money that you were receiving?
Madam, the money comes intermittently. Like it comes 2 weeks, a month, 2 months time. Right now, 2 months, I have to borrow. So in case the money comes, I have to settle other. And I moved out from the house where I was posted. So I'm renting. I pay my utility bills. I have to take TNT in and out. How can I survive with 700 cedis if my in and out is about 6 cedis every day? I have to eat morning. Sometimes even the case, you see them, they are worried that the office come, but I am a miska. Once the got to be here, like that is it. So how can I survive with 700? Even those permanent people who are receiving over 1,000 and 2,000 are always saying the money is not enough for them. 700 Ghana cedis, it doesn't come every month, and you switch. Sometimes you go and there's problem, network issues, and you can't even withdraw. 700 cedis, and 700 cedis is not just 700 cedis though. There's charge on it.
Oh, so you don't get 700 cedis at the end of the month?
It's taxed?
It's not a fixed 700 cedis. The actual amount is after they send the 700 cedis, they will deduct 50% for processing fee.
Okay.
That is it in the message. So before you go to the usage, it's no more 700. It's 699 something. Then after that, then when you are withdrawing, at least if you want to withdraw the whole 699 something, you'll be deducted about almost 5 or 6 cedis. So at the end of the day, you get 690 roughly. It's not 700 cedis as that amount. And I am over 30 years now.
Wow,
so if my SNIT is not being paid at this time,
did you check to see if they were paying your SNIT? Did you check?
They are not paying a SNIT for any NABCO personnel. If anybody says they are paying a SNIT, I can challenge that. They're not paying any SNIT for any NABCO personnel.
Did you check? Did you go for your statement to see, to verify?
Did I do what?
Did you go for your statement from SNIT to verify that they didn't pay your SNIT
all through the 3 years? If they were. Currently, before I joined the NABCO, I was in a private school and they were paying my SNIT for me.
Okay.
So SNIT used to send me messages about my SNIT contribution. So if they were paying, I would have received something from them. They've not been paying.
But if you're not receiving, at least did you go there to verify?
I haven't checked that.
So you need to check because you cannot just say This is
they are
quite,
not paying,
you know, damning. Yes, you
Yeah.
have to say, check first before you say that they are not paying.
Nobody has confirmed that they've been payment of slip.
Okay.
We have a lot of groups that have joined concerning the NABCO trainee issues. And you know something, madam, finally, before I go.
Okay.
You know, there have been people circulating on the media that they hold, they are the NABTAC president, or we've never had any form of voting, any form of election to elect any executive in our among our trainees.
Okay.
But people come and they speak in the view of the government. Sometimes they pretend as if they are talking for us, but they are not, madam. We are going through a lot.
All right.
People think that everything is okay, but we are going through. It was a good initiative. I understand. It's perfectly fine. But we are suffering.
All right. Thank you.
Especially Educate Ghana trainees. We need something. Every time there's clearance for education, GES, we are overlooked. Every time. But we have many trainees who hold bachelor, and some are even having masters and MPhil.
Thank you so much. Thank you for speaking to us. I'm very grateful that you agreed to do this. Unfortunately, for those of you watching, we cannot put out his details for the sake of, you know, his protection as well, his security. And so he was willing to speak to us. And it's not all gloomy for all of them, by the way. I'll just read a message before we come back to our guests in the studios. This is from Ralph Ameto. He posted this on Facebook, I think, over the weekend, and that also generated a lot of conversation. And he says that my take on the NABCO program from myself and NABCO personnel. Daniel, I think I put in the group, if we can project it as well, if there's time, so we can see. So he says that as the 3 years NABCO program comes to an end, I have seen many posts from people trying to rubbish and bring the program to nothing, and I find that to be very shallow-minded. I have been a NABCO personnel for the past 3 years, and I can boldly tell you that I'm really happy to have been part of this program. After my national service in 2018, I would have probably come back home from the eastern region, Suhum, wandering around to find a job. And then came NABCO. I didn't see it to be politically motivated, but rather a job opportunity for me to grow and at least have food on my table. The past 3 years being a NABCO personnel was tough. Delayed payments for 3 months sometimes, constant borrowing, and asking for financial assistance from friends and family. But we had no choice than to keep going. Knowing very well the NABCO program was a social intervention program like the JIDA, SADA, Youth in Afforestation, etc., and just a 3-year contract on programs, I told myself to make the best out of the 3 years to keep myself going after the program ends. That is where I had the idea of Ralph Barber Shop. I couldn't afford to buy nice clothes for myself, shoes, good mobile phones, or add a little touch to myself by treating myself to good things, just because of the nature and challenges of the program. And also, it just being 700 Ghana cedis that I was earning every month from the program, which takes months to be paid. I basically was living hand to mouth all 3 years that I had to make, that I had to work, and I made a lot of sacrifices. Every time when our stipends or allowances were paid, I go to Makola Hair and Care, a renowned shop there that sells barbering and salon equipment and materials, to buy an item or two. This routine of mine continued for 2 good years until I got the shop done. Through the same program, I attended a driving school, paid 1,300 for driver's license to be able to work as an Uber or Bolt driver. If we're not given permanent employment all out of the program, and today, as NABCO ends, I want to let you know the NABCO program, amidst its challenges, has been helpful to me and a few people I know. I have friends who own a fish farming business through 700 Ghana cedis monthly allowance. Others went back to school for their top-up degrees all through these NABCO allowances. Others got married too, LOL. The NABCO program is not... Yeah, we cannot say that, but most NABCO personnel, I'll skip that. And he included some photos as well. This has been trending on Facebook. Coming back to you, sir. I don't know what you think. We're getting two sides of the story. You are saying that it was a good initiative, but these are people who are complaining that they've not been able to save. I mean, allowances delayed so many times, they had to go and borrow. This guy may have been able to start a business, but what about someone whose family depends on him? So that 700 is supposed to pay school fees for 3 other siblings, provide food for the family. And now they are telling them that, unfortunately, it has ended.
Well, that does not negate the well intention and the achievements of the NABCO. I earlier on said that it's a transition period. The concept of NABCO is not to create employment for people. If you remember very well, which you can Google, it's an incubation kind of project.
For the private sector to absorb them. That was
not just the private sector, for the individuals, those who also have the capacity to become entrepreneurs. And you are reading for us a typical example. So the NABCO kind of concept is a temporary employment project for more or less, it's a stop in the gap kind of measure. But it's an incubation project where people get on there, get some exposure, get experience. Those who want to become entrepreneurs, at least have government support so that you can also nurture your ideas. There were other models that people were giving to private entrepreneurs or businesses to also augment their effort whilst they learn. So the whole concept of NABCO had not been to retain everybody for that quite long of time. So you could see that a lot of them have also transitioned. You know, I know personally NABCO trainees who have gotten their own businesses. I know some of them who are now in the civil service. The unfortunate aspect for my first colleague who spoke is the fact that he had been a teacher trainee, been on NABCO, and others have been recruited and he has not been recruited. Perhaps he hasn't given us the full story. When the window of opportunity is open for GES to recruit, they don't come picking people. They open their portal. So if you don't apply, you don't get selected. So if you have been sitting, assuming that you have completed, and that automatically you should be posted, it doesn't happen that way.
But that's what he was saying, that he was hoping that, you know, some priority will be given to
the portal is open for everybody in Ghana, and those who qualify apply. So sometimes I know I'm a labor consultant, so I come into contact with all these challenges. You have to actually apply, even if you are the best of all the students among your class. You have to actually get on there and apply. And there hadn't been any specific quota to say that unless you are coming from NABCO, you should not, you should not be recruited. No. So that kind of quota had not been there, which he is saying that it's a good thing to consider, give NABCO a quota. But the concept of NABCO had not been for permanent employment. And look, the allowances that they had been receiving, it's not a permanent employment, it's not a kind of employment, it's an incubation period. So if your little fee is also going to be deducted, 5% to be taken away from it to pay your pension, then you come back complaining. But it's good. For some families, it's been an income support. For some of them have found good use for the little allowances that, you know, they got. But of course, there's more room for improvement.
Well, you mentioned in the beginning when you were speaking that you think it was a policy analysis challenge. But it's been 3 years, so I just want to ask. First year, when it started, we all started to see the lapses. Second year, and now third year. How come your institution wasn't able to at least amend some of these challenges that we were all going through with NABCO?
Well, I don't work with NABCO.
Okay.
I'm not a spokesperson for NABCO. Okay. I'm a private labor consultant. And earlier on, what I mentioned is that if we will do policy analysis to find the impact or to evaluate the impact of the NABCO, one of the positive impact that we could link to, if you remember very well, was to link it to the improvement in the results. In the results of JHS and SHS, because there were areas that it was difficult to find teachers there, but the NABCO came in to fill the gap. And again, the first person who spoke confirmed that, but for his presence, that particular class, even in Kumasi, this one you are talking about Kumasi, we are not talking about even the villages. But he is speaking from Kumasi, so if even in Kumasi, but for his presence, there was nobody there.
Then they should have paid more attention to them, especially for even just Educate Ghana. If we can link that to, you know, the results of the students in those schools, then that should tell you that it is serving a certain purpose. Maybe we should keep these people there. Because for this young man, if he leaves, he says he's waiting till end of the term. If nothing happens, he'll leave. There might not be any teacher to take over at that point.
Can I interrupt
what happens?
Can I interrupt you?
Go ahead.
As far as I am concerned, and what I have heard from some of their officials, definitely that transition will come on. So if you heard Ghana Standard Authority asking their NABCO personnel to go on leave,
yes.
I mean for 2 weeks, definitely if you understand the employment language, it tells you that something is cooking. Because if your term has come to an end, They are under no obligation, and they wouldn't even have the right to say that go on leave. It's simply to inform you that your existence here is no longer possible. And that should be the end. They wouldn't have asked the individuals to go on leave for 2 weeks and be very specific. Something is cooking, but of course, it's not me to come and put it out here.
Of course.
It's for the NABCO officials
to come and
tell you. But I'm very certain that those people will not be left in the cold.
What happens to those who unfortunately may not be absorbed into the job sector? I mean, they've gotten 3 years of training. That was the scare for many of them, that you've trained me for 3 years. I go home and I don't get a job for another 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. I'm going to get rusty. And so then it defeats the whole purpose of what you set up to do with NABCO, because I will not be able to work. Looking
into the eyes of the NABCO trainees through your medium, the essence of NABCO is not to put that heavy burden of obligation on government to absorb everybody. So if you're a NABCO trainee and you can afford to find something to do, you can do something for yourself. There are alternatives with the Ghana Employment Agency that especially for those who can go into entrepreneurship. They have alternative there. That's why I'm saying that for those who can afford to do that, take advantage of some of these programs. There are public employment centers in the labor offices countrywide. Register with them. And the registration is free. When there are opportunities there, they will be able to match you to some of these opportunities. So they shouldn't just bank all their hope on NABCO. Because you receive some kind of experience. Now, if you could not cite a month of work experience, now you can say that for 3 years, you have done something. So we should also come to terms with the realities of our time.
Okay.
Where people receive training and the expectations have been formal employment to end up as employees by others. There's a need to also look at some of these challenges and see how best we can address them.
We're talking NABCO and the fact that the president did announce that officially NABCO beneficiaries will have to, well, the policy had ended. And so all the over 97,000 people who benefited from the project will have to take a step aside. Now, remember that also the same president mentioned that some 49,000 of them had already been, absorbed into permanency, or in fact, some of them had gone into entrepreneurship. And so that was just about half of the total number of beneficiaries of NABCO. There's also another half that we're hoping will be absorbed one way or the other. And so that is the latest on that. We're still speaking to Benjamin Arthur, and he's here giving us all the details that we need with regards to NABCO. We're putting the numbers on the screens as well, so you can share with us, if you're a NABCO beneficiary, what has been your experience? Good, bad, share with us. I mean, it's good to hear all the sides to it. But back to you and a conversation that we just had, because I was going to bring it up, that unemployment is still on the high. We saw the number of young people who had queued to, get recruited into the security agencies. Before that, let me just pick a caller and then we'll come back. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, just as you people said, our identity should be hidden.
Okay,
then
sure,
go ahead.
no problem.
Go ahead.
So please, my question is, I want you to ask the secretary what are they saying to us? Like, should we go home or should we stay at post? That is all that we need to know now, because we are confused because we don't know where we are going.
So this morning, did you go to work?
Should we? Yeah, yes.
You went to work. So that means that your institution did not officially communicate to you to proceed on leave like we saw the GSA do?
So we want to know, because if, like the Ghana Standard Authority that said they should go home, they are also asking them to go, or there is no space at the Ghana Standard Board, that's why they are going.
Oh, they said they should proceed on a 2-week leave.
We should wait for the institution to give us direction, or we should wait for the secretariat. Which one?
Okay. All right. We'll try and get those answers from for you from the secretariat.
So that's what we want to know. They should be able to give us a statement.
But
they say they are sending messages, but the individual messages, Cora will not be able to help us.
So you got a message?
A statement, a full memo, telling us that, all people should stay. If your facility is able to absorb you, fine.
Okay,
but
hold on.
Your facility is not able to absorb you, go home.
Did you get a message? Hello? hold on. Did you get a message? Because we know that you have platforms, right? And they send you individual messages as well.
We don't have any message concerning going home or staying at post. And everybody, all our platforms, you go to everybody, that's the same question everybody is asking. Because all of us, we are confused as to where we are going.
Okay.
Are we going home? Are we staying? Now, somebody asking as if president of what, and he's issuing statement, you stay at post. They are working on it. We don't want that. We want the Anya himself to come and tell us the story.
But I just want to ask you, do you guys have any form of associations at all? And is there a head? Do you have any associations that you have formed as trainees?
Those associations, we don't even know where they are from. Because when these things were organized, we didn't know where those NABCOs and what came from. All that, we don't have to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Any NABCO association or whatsoever, we want them to come out, the secretaries to come out and give us a statement telling us something concerning the program.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. You can also call in. The numbers are on your screens. Let's go back to Mr. Arthur now. I was asking about the issue of unemployment. At the moment, it's 4.60. We're told that it's likely to hit 5 before the end of the year. It might reduce as we move along in 2022, by the way. But looking at the number of young people who don't have jobs. Now, we're going to see some NABCO personnel also add to the number as well. The finance minister says that the government's payroll is full. So go and start your own jobs and businesses. Now, these young people are saying not all of us can be entrepreneurs. So if you're telling us all to go start our own businesses, you have not provided funds for us because we're still waiting for a youth bank initiative to start. Some 100,000 people are supposed to benefit from that. You haven't started that initiative, yet you say we should go and start our own businesses. With what funds?
Well, you see, this was a lecture being delivered by the finance minister. And sometimes, as a professional, I would like to put things in context. He was speaking to a specific group of people.
I'm so sorry. I'll let you hold on. We've gotten a call again.
Okay.
Forgive us.
People.
But Cookie, yes.
Good morning. Please do not mention your name, but let us know what your thoughts are this morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's hear you.
Oh, how is your web?
Well, everything is okay, sort of, this morning. We are exactly.
I'm sure he's from Hill, Ghana.
I'm telling you.
Carry on.
What's on your mind this morning?
As you said, we shouldn't expose our identity. I'm also a NABCO trainee beneficiary, but it depends on how you approach a work. I was also a NABCO trainee, but because of my hard work and familiarize myself with the officers there, so I was taken as a permanent worker in my facility.
Okay.
So I know NABCO cannot absorb everybody in the system, but those who have opportunity to also get work, I would say NABCO is a very good thing.
If I may ask, which institution are you in? Where do you work?
Yeah, I worked in Ghana Health Service.
Okay, Ghana Health
Yeah,
Service.
so I was right when I said Hill, Ghana.
Yeah. All right. So you are with the Ghana Health Service.
Yes.
And you have been permanently absorbed, so you receive your monthly salary and all that it comes with.
Oh yes, I do receive my monthly salary.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
At least this one is good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please carry on.
Yes, as soon as he used the term facility, then you must know he's talking about
Health.
a health sector, because that's one of the terms they use, facility,
right.
facility, which is very good. The Minister for Finance was very strategic. He was speaking in the context. He had met young people, and it was an entrepreneurship kind of forum.
Yeah.
So
it was actually a graduation ceremony.
that's the point. So it's the kind of message that our young people need. Look, let's be very serious. Ghana already is 90% informal sector. 10% as per the 2015 labor force survey gives us as the formal sector. And government employees are not more than 5% of all employed persons in Ghana. So if you go to get a degree, you've gotten some kind of education and all your expectation is to get into the public sector, then you are fighting for a constricted conduit, a very narrow path that we have taken. The obvious is for us to open up the channels and give kind of support for people to become entrepreneurs. But when the finance minister was speaking, maybe the forum was not, the time was not enough to explain in detail. But the government has procured World Bank loan of about 300 million for job and skills project, which I task you to Google.
Yeah, to Google.
Did you see anything? It's there.
I had
that one of the
back.
key modules is to ensure that the jobs to skills mismatch will be bridged. And this time, the focus will be on TVETs to ensure, because Ghana needs more of vocational, technical, science, technology, innovation, education than the other kind of courses that we run. So that will be addressed. And a lot of funding will be given to MBSSI, which is now Ghana Enterprises Agency. If you also Google GLMIS, you'll get to know that the Ministry of Employment is fast working on a platform that will help people in job search.
Okay.
So that is also being done. As a consultant, I'm aware of all these projects that are being rolled out. So maybe this year might be a bit tough, but next year, I'm sure when they roll out the project in full, some of these people will no longer respond to your calls on such programs. They'll be very busy working. That's my
We have another
expectation.
caller, by the way. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. You'd also want to hold on to your identity?
Yes, please.
Okay, carry on. What has your experience been like?
All right. So what I would like to say is that it was a good initiative, but I think our leaders always want us to have a big to get what they want. They built some kind of high aspirations on we, the NABCO trainees. So everything I felt like, they go to 2000, they go to 2000. So that's the reason why some of us are now complaining. Because yes, like the man is saying, it was an easy process. We understand that. But it have made us believe that at the end of the program, they're going to strike. A lot of us are going to get recruited. And like I was saying, there were lots of challenges concerning even the payment. So we should be, I think about high time that we, the youth, start to realize that we always be like the vulnerable ones, we always be the educated ones. Prior to the election, they brought a lot of funds for us to fill, just that so that we know that we are going to vote for them, so that we are going to get it. And if definitely you're going to vote for the government in power now. You're going to be thinking that what about if we change government? And that's what we are facing, and they've got what they want. So now they can tell us anything that they want. So I believe that yes, all of us will put ourselves together and maybe venture other things, even if it's private work and it's sustainable, and we're going to see someone else say, this one is sustainable. It is better than being something on contract. Which has a longer house, which exit after 3 years. Being exit after 3 years is like something like the same profession, like the same job. You are better than someone who's even recruited as a full-time person. And this, I can see from your eyes better that you are not happy. Like you're mostly like
okay.
But so that's not that you can see. But I know behind closed doors that you can see. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Back to you. I mean, that's someone also sharing his concern. So let's look at how much we have spent on NABCO and whether this has done us more harm, our economy more harm than good. In fact, I remember that 2019, when the finance minister spoke ahead of the 2020 budget, he said that we had spent about 840 million Ghana cedis on NABCO from the time it started. Now, at the moment, we're told we spent about what, $95,000
I don't have
annually.
the figures.
Well, okay, so I'm just quoting some of the figures that I have. About $95,000 annually. Anyone correct me if I'm wrong, but those are the figures that
Million or thousand?
Million. Pardon me. So if we've spent that much money, our economy already, COVID-19 took us back way behind. And now we're spending so much on that. Are we seeing the effects on our economy at the moment? And was it a good spend?
Definitely any expenditure that gives us what we call inclusive growth for any government policy turns out to be more positive than not doing it. Because what is the essence of existence of government? Is to work towards improving the living standards of people.
Okay.
So I will be for, I will be a champion to tell government that, look, spend more in building our human resources, spend more in getting especially young people opportunities. So if government has spent more, even much more, in recruiting more for people to get exposure, for people to realize their talent here and there, that's what we need. We need some of these programs far better than some other programs.
Okay.
I have always said, and I will take this opportunity to say this again on your platform, 2024 elections will be fought on the grounds of employment. And I'm sure government really knows that. So any policy that will not bring on board inclusiveness as far as employment and its related policies are concerned, you'll be punished for that. For example, some of us are advocating that government needs to intensify public that are labor intensive. Gradually, machines, artificial intelligence, and what have you, they are taking over some kind of jobs. Today, if you went to train as an accountant and you have not chartered, somebody who doesn't even understand accountancy is using a software and possibly is doing the kind of job that you, with your ledger books and the rest, used to do. Somebody is doing that. There are a lot of automations and the rest. Even in this studio, I'm sure the next 5 years, some of the gentlemen standing here might not be standing here because one ICT person will be sitting in a room and then be clicking buttons here and there. So there's a need for us to look at the future of work. And for me, if government will intensify, for example, if there's some street that we need to construct and we can afford to use pavement blocks that people must get involved and lay and get some kind of payment for their effort, that is more helpful. The best resource we have in this country is our human resource. So any policy that is geared towards its development is a right policy. What's the essence of having machines here and there, having high-rise buildings here and there, when the people living in it are not faring well? So government, I encourage government to spend more in creating opportunities, but I am for entrepreneurship because worldwide it has proven to be the most effective way of hiring more people. Okay. If we got 10% of NABCO trainees to establish their own entities, and each one of them could hire 2 more, imagine that we would have had about more than 2/3 of NABCO trainees already being hired by their own colleagues. So that is the way forward. So if the finance minister hinted that entrepreneurship is the way forward,
We should take a cue from
our structure in Ghana says so 90% of us are own account workers with employees or without employees. So we are already working for ourselves. You too, at the end of the 60 years, you will come and join us.
I'll come back. Anyway,
you come and join us.
So quick one, by the way. So the president has stated that 73,844 nation builders cohorts who took part in the career pathway transition process will be placed by the end of the period. And he says this will pave way for another set of unemployed graduates into the scheme. We're waiting to get the announcements, official announcement that says that these 73,844 of them have been placed. We're waiting for those details. We'll try and get in touch with the secretariat as well so they can also give us their side of the story.
Well, before we go, I think some of the callers said they had no inclination at all about the 2 weeks leave that they were supposed to proceed on. Well, this is the official statement that came from the Ghana Standards Authority on Friday, the 29th of October 2021, and it says all NABCO trainees to proceed on 2 weeks leave as part of the exit plan of the NABCO program, which ends this month. We write to inform all NABCO trainees to proceed on 2 weeks mandatory leave effective Monday, the 1st of November 2021 to the 15th of November 2021. This mandatory leave has become necessary for management in consultation with the National NABCO Secretariat to plan and strategize on retaining retainees for the services of the authority. Trainees should note any feedback that may arise earlier than the said date shall be communicated accordingly. We seize this opportunity to wish all trainees a very restful leave. Kindly take notes and be guided accordingly. And it was signed by Douglas Niteko from the GSA. So maybe it came in a little too late because it came in on Friday, knowing very well that it was ending on Sunday. And if you want to send a communique like this, I mean, it should come in a little earlier, maybe the Monday, so that by the time business closes on Friday,
we know
everybody knows that exactly we are going on leave on Monday.
Can I
and we are
interrupt
not
you a
supposed to
bit?
come
Is
back
it
to
the
work.
way and manner you read what had been put there and the way and manner they wrote that notice gives the impression that they were communicating to all NABCO trainees. That's what is circulating.
Yeah.
But they
But
were
this is for
telling a
GSA.
specific number of
Yeah.
NABCO trainees.
Yeah.
And
Am I allowed to ask the two of you questions?
No, you're not allowed. Time is up. We have to go. So Benjamin
get some of
is
the
a
NABCO
labor
trainees.
and
So that you can ask the
Yeah,
questions.
no.
Don't
As
worry.
a private entity.
Oh yes, we
Go and
we
get
have-
some of
we
them
will.
as
All that
employees
outlined.
here.
we will. Don't
all
worry.
that out.
At
Thank you
least
so
the
much.
Media General should get
Benjamin
about 40 of
Arthur
them.
is a labor and employment expert and a civil engineer. Quick one. Happy birthday to Madam Nina Ohui Kwamain. She is the mother of Dr. Na Ashile Dodu. Absolutely love you, Doc. And so she says that we are thankful to God for your life today. Your love, kindness, and selflessness, pardon me, is appreciated by us. We love you dearly. Happy birthday from Na Ashile, Nia Shite, Michelle, and Maya. God bless you, Mama. Here you are, an ardent viewer of TV3 New Day. We love you. We'll be back with some entertainment and more.